Hi guys, Luke here and welcome to another FIFA 21 Future Stars player review. And today guys, I'm going to be reviewing the 87 rated CDM Reece James from Chelsea. A very nice card that he does have. I did buy him for just over 500,000 coins, 3 games played with him, 0 goals scored and 3 assists. He does also have 3-star skill moves as well as 3-star weak foot. And then getting into his in-game stats, some very nice in-game stats. His 96 shot power, 91 strength, 92 stand tackle and also 88 slide tackle. I did also have the energy chems that apply to him, and then he does have the 1 trait of early crosser, which to be honest is a bit wasted on this card. Of course, he had his fullback. His right back 87 rated released last week as well for Future Stars, and the early crosser trait on that particular card is obviously good to have because fullbacks typically cross the ball a lot of the time, into the box. But as a it's like a central based card of Reece James, whether you want to use him as a centre midfielder or use him as a CDM, they always stay central, so you're never really going to get much use out of the early crosser trait. So it's a bit of a waste to have it on this particular card, but I would have rather had like solid player or maybe a few of the AI traits or whatever applied to him. But I suppose it doesn't matter too much at the end of the day. But I'll be honest with this card. He did well for me in game. I mean, he got me 3 assists in the 3 matches, and I think he is slightly too expensive. But that's so normal though for so many. Often when English players in the Premier League go and get special cards, whether it be informs, player moments SBCs, Future Stars SBCs, Future Stars cards in general, or just any particular special card like man of the matches or whatever, they are always so expensive. If you remember some of the English SBCs we've seen this year, Chamberlain had a very expensive SBC, Curtis Jones from yesterday, as good as he is, he's a very expensive SBC. In fairness, Wayne Rooney for the card you get in return isn't that expensive because of the fact that he plays in the Championship, but English players in the Premier League are always so much more in demand, therefore they're always going to be so much more expensive. If Reece James plays in La Liga or the Bundesliga, he'd be like 300,000 coins. He'd be easily 200,000 coins, maybe even more less than what he goes for because he plays in the Premier League. Now, I'll be honest, I think this card's you're going to get the best out of him as a CDM. I use him in the box-to-box role, and whilst I think he played well on that role, and obviously he came in with 3 goal contributions, that being all an assist in the 3 matches, you do look at this card, and he is a very much more defensively minded player. But he still possesses quite a few good attacking traits. I mean, he's got 96 shot power, some of his passing stats are absolutely superb, so I wanted to use him in that centre mid role, in which he still, had some defensive duties to take care of, and his tackling was still good in game. That's why I put his tackling down still as a pro to the card, because he did make quite a few tackles for me, having, he's got 89 overall defending, 92 stand tackle, 87 defensive awareness, 88 in both slide tackle and interceptions. He's great in that role, being able to make tackles, break up play and stuff like that, be able to regain possession of the ball. And I think that's something, though, once more, that you're going to get a lot more benefit out of as a CDM, where unlike a centre mid role, he's going to have a lot more defensive duties to be responsible for, and I think he'd be great in that area. So tackling wise, though, he was very, very good. Physicality, again, really, really nice. 91 strength, 85 aggression, got a good presence on the pitch. I think he's like 6'2". 6 foot. He's 6 foot, having the 91 strength, the 85 aggression. It does allow him to be able to boss that midfield, bully players off the ball. For me, he felt very similar to the foot freeze Marquinhos SBC from a few months ago. Of course, Reece James is a much more expensive card than Marquinhos, and of course, Marquinhos, you can't go and get that card now. You would have had to have done the SBC back at Christmas time, but he's a very similar sort of player to Marquinhos. I think their stats are actually very similar all round, to be quite honest. I think James might actually have a better card out of him. He's got like more shooting and stuff like that, but I think they're relatively similar cards, but yeah, physicality-wise, he was great. His passing as well, very nice. 83 vision, 90 short passing, 83 long passing, and his through balls to Mbappe, to Ben Yedder, to Salah, to Bamba as well. The left-hand side player from Lille was very, very good, and obviously I've shown that by the fact that he came away with 3 assists in those 3 matches. But listen, I'll be quite honest. We saw the Curtis Jones SBC get released yesterday, and obviously he had the left mid or a centre mid version. If someone was to say to me right now, who is the better box-to-box midfielder card to go for, go and do the Future Stars Jones and get the sentiment version, or go and buy Reece James. If you're asking me which is better as a box-to-box midfielder, the answer I would give would be Curtis Jones. I think he possesses better attacking traits than what Reece James does. Now, don't get me wrong, Reece James on the attack is still decent, but I think Curtis Jones is certainly a more well-rounded player for that area, and certainly in the box-to-box role. Now, if you want to talk about a CDM position, Reece James is your guy to go for 100% because he possesses absolutely fantastic defensive stats. Jones has got decent defensive stats, but obviously maybe not quite good enough for a CDM role. So on the whole, this card is good to be able to use. I do think he's overpriced though, and I think like his value for money isn't terrible, but it's not like amazing at the same time. I feel like, do I really get myself 500,000 coins value for money in this card? Probably not. I'd like to think that maybe he could drop down to 400,000, maybe 350,000 coins potentially over the next few days. But if you're going to use him, certainly the CDM role would be his best position. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys later.